All right. Good morning and happy Wednesday to everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is November 10th, 2021. Let's go ahead and take a look at yesterday's price action, kind of get a sense of where we are in this market, and overall talk about some concepts that we had discussed yesterday and some of the risk that is starting to show in some of our key underlyings. So yesterday we noted that it was the first session in about 8 to 9 sessions where the SPY had yet to close or make a new all-time high. We were seeing multiple trending type days where we were closing higher and higher. And then the past couple of sessions just seeing a bit of a stall. So we knew potentially the momentum was starting to fizzle. And we were looking at some simple conditions of the market. Things like RSI are a good way to just get a sense of how overbought or oversold a market is. And as with most indicators, it's simply a condition. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything's going to occur, but the more that condition advertises itself, usually the more conviction from traders, investors, and ultimately the market to respond with either profit taking or the opposite side of the trade. So as the market is pulling back slightly, we're just seeing our SPX expected move for the week. We've yet to really test either side, so things are still within sort of normal conditions. But we do have a bit of a downside target for the expected move, about 46.35 on the SPX. Now, shifting over to our SPY, nothing really seems out of order. We certainly are holding very well in this uptrend, and we can start to draw some very simple structure here to see if there's any risk to the downside. What we have here is just a very classic trend line, and it's capturing a majority of the price action along this bullish uptrend. Usually using something like a shorter term time frame can allow you to assess the dominant trend and see if there's any cracks in the foundation, which really just means that in the larger time frames, we're starting consolidation. I would argue that yesterday we had that first crack of our lower time frame trends, and especially on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we're starting to lose the 50 moving average, which often is that first sign that, hey, market may be ready to consolidate some of these gains and we may be ready to pull back slightly. Now, in the larger context, we do have our daily, and we're going to be seeing whether this pullback has conviction, i.e., is this more of a selling area, or will the market just start to churn in a sort of non-directional range near the highs? What would that look like ultimately after such a strong bullish move to the upside? Well, it would look something like this period here. And we can see that once again, just using some similar characteristics, the RSI did get elevated in this period of time as the market had essentially a 2 to 3 week bullish move to the upside with very little in the way of pullbacks. So as the market got to this elevated position, the RSI did start to fall and ultimately respond to this elevation. But the market did not necessarily roll over at that time. We actually traded relatively flat for another 2 to 3 week session, and then eventually got that downside correction as divergences were forming on the RSI. So some ideas as to what could be next. Obviously, we don't necessarily want to fight a market that made a new all-time high, but it may be an opportunity to consider things like some downside hedges. And we talk about the idea of profit taking when you've hit relative targets. One market that seems to have hit an upside target is certainly the NASDAQ. And when we talk about targets, it's simply the information we have in front of us. Ultimately, the NASDAQ continues to remain fairly respective of this channel. And while over the past couple of sessions, we actually did see a topside breach of the channel, the pullback is commencing in the NASDAQ as we did see stronger selling pressure and the market pivoting coming back into this sort of high end of the channel. So what's the reason for this? What can we do to prepare ourselves as traders? Well, ultimately, we can look at key underlyings that may be opportunities and what sort of risks do they have for the market as a whole. It's obviously worth considering the first underlying, which has been carrying the NASDAQ into a slight degree, the SPY overall, to the upside, and that's, of course, Tesla. Now, the events of yesterday and the sell-off in Tesla have been notable across multiple market participants. And a lot of people sort of wonder what causes such an aggressive sell-off. Well, first and foremost, a lot of the upside momentum in this market was carried forward by the option side of the market. And when we simply look at the last session, where was Tesla's volume? Where was it coming from? Were people going out and selling shares? Or were they simply using the option market and starting to capitulate near the highs? If we look at total volume yesterday, we can see that Tesla actually traded approximately 2.5 million contracts yesterday. Obviously, a pretty volatile session to the downside, but just noting that a large notional value of Tesla shares were actually traded in the option market, not necessarily directly through buying or selling shares. Also worth noting that the call and put sizzle, this indicator or this metric is just showing the past 5 days, how elevated is the call or put volume relative to the past 5 days. Yesterday was a bit of an elevated session. We had about 1.2 times the number of calls based on the 5-day average, and then about 1.6 times the number of puts based on the 5-day average. And what it's simply showing is that while things got very volatile to the downside, a lot of that was in the put side of the market, as we're seeing more puts traded than calls. And you can even start to dig in more granularly and see what sort of delta did these contracts hold, i.e., were people trading or were they hedging? And usually this can be seen by how far out of the money were some of these contracts traded, along with were contracts traded between the bid and the ask, or were they traded more at the ask or at the bid, usually indicating smarter money. Oftentimes when you see things between, or sorry, I said that incorrectly. Usually when you see contracts traded between the bid or the ask, those are smart participants trying to basically massage the price that they're getting their contracts. When you see lots of trades at the ask or at the bid, depending on the side of the market you're trading, that often indicates retail. Usually in calmer environments, you're going to see less retail participation. And then in more volatile environments, retail kicks in, and usually you'll see either people having to stop out or people actually getting into the buying or selling frenzy. Both sides, of course, valid when it comes to volatility. So worth mentioning that our key underlying, this was one that we were going to be on focus. It carried a lot of notional value for the market. And when we talk about pullbacks or corrections in a market, we often talk about things as simple as the percentage loss from low to high. If we're just measuring the past 4 days in Tesla, we're looking at about a 19% decline. We're kind of entering essentially that crash type territory where the market goes from an elevated position and gives back substantial portions of that move. Now, when it comes to market cap, we also talked about how this works in regards to Tesla's market cap. Tesla very notably became a $1 trillion company as of late. And as it was moving higher, the volatility of such a large company was significant relative to other large companies. Usually, we're going to be looking at things like Apple and Microsoft as comparisons. So while Apple and Microsoft hold about 2.5 trillion respectively, they do not move in the same way as Tesla. They have smaller relative movement on a day-to-day basis. And therefore, a stock like Tesla losing 10 to 15% from high to low is equivalent to a stock like Microsoft or Apple losing 7%, essentially just matching up the market cap and the relative volatility of the underlying itself. Also worth mentioning that as Tesla is flirting with 1,000 per share, we're also seeing the market cap reassess. And ultimately, Tesla is at risk of losing its trillion-dollar status if it were to lose 1,000 significantly. So what does this mean for the market as a whole? Did we see stronger selling across the market, or was this more of an isolated event? I would argue that some of the recovery yesterday actually took place in another key underlying consumer discretionary focus, and that's, of course, Amazon. Amazon was actually one of our few bullish stocks on the day that carries enough market cap for the market to care. And as Tesla was seeing selling pressure, Amazon actually bid itself higher. Possible bit of rotation inside of two key underlyings for consumer discretionaries. Additionally, some of our stronger semiconductors, they did see some potential topping action as NVIDIA had a significant gap to all-time highs, but as you can see, pulling back significantly on the session and ultimately not holding on that gap. Very interesting sort of turning point for this key underlying. And as we look at a short-term time frame, we can see once again just the trend starting to fall apart. What is often acted as sort of buying pullback, something like the 50 on the 1 hour, the elevated status, and then the overextension, normally this will begin to roll over and correct. So across the board, we're seeing different behaviors in different stocks, things that maybe got a bit too far extended, finally giving that sort of overcorrected pullback. And just kind of understanding that as these underlyings fall, they're taking away some of the weighted momentum from the S&Ps, and specifically the NASDAQ in regards to some of these larger tech companies. Now, what are some other risks that have been occurring in the market as of late? It's worth mentioning that we have a bond market that has been pretty volatile to the upside. Over the past couple of sessions, an ETF like TLT has been gapping higher and higher and leaving a lot of this sort of poor structure underneath. Once again, pulling up to that 1 hour time frame, we can see that not only has it gapped into prior resistance, we can see that maybe on, let's do a 4 hour, we're coming into that prior resistance, but I've also marked what's known as gravity. Kind of a personal term, but the idea is simple. It's a bit of a value zone. The market likes to return to these spots when things either become too extended to one side or the other, or whenever the market is a bit indecisive about sentiment. Usually the idea here is that there's some underlying catalyst that moved some market away from value. And if that market reassesses that catalyst or something changes in the perception, you'll often get a return to these zones. Short-term traders like to know these areas because as a trader, your best advantage is to basically fade or play the opposite move from these zones into value. And then, of course, if you get extensions from value, you're playing the move away. So Very key area inside of the TLT, approximately 150. But what that's been doing is putting a lot of volatility inside of our interest rate uh, marketplace. Basically, bonds and notes have been shifting interest rates quite drastically over the past couple of sessions. Just looking at the 10-year here, we can see that we're actually starting to breach below a previous swing low, a very notable low that occurred back in the March timeframe. If you were around in the March timeframe, you'll know that the market was quite responsive to these fluctuations of interest rates. And ultimately, that volatility led to deeper corrections inside of the NASDAQ. So as we see this market coming into this zone, and for the first time actually having a significant close below it, we may want to keep an eye on this area and see, do we start to pull away even further, or is this once again just a retest of a previous breakout? At least from a technical sense, you can see how the market has risen, pulled back into this zone, and we're going to see what the response is moving forward. This is once again sort of that pinpoint opportunity. Do we see a turning point, and do we want to get into position for that opposite reaction? Obviously, we'll need a bit more information as we watch this market fall, but knowing these pinpoints, knowing these levels that are responsive, help us to time markets much more precisely and capture larger moves. One example, of course, being this high, which was indicated by these swing highs back in time. So that continues to sort of be a market on watch. Obviously, the tech sector has been benefiting from a rising bond market, more of that sort of risk-off perspective. We've also seen consumer discretionaries be a bit of a leader. Amazon and Tesla are key names, of course, but other names like Starbucks actually having some interesting rallies after earnings. And as we shift into more of the earnings perspective, let's look at a couple names that reported overnight. One name that's been on focus, especially with the crypto sector or crypto industry as a whole outperforming in recent weeks, has been Coin. You can see here that Coin had a significant rally off of an area of consolidation, a lot of bullish momentum into its earnings. But as we often do, earnings are all about what the market perceives risk to be. And when we look at Coin's option chain, option series specifically for the week, we can see that the market was pricing in about a $40 expected move for earnings. Now, earnings in the middle of the week do not have to achieve all of that movement inside of the earnings announcement. But the idea here is that for this weekly series, if you're playing earnings, that volatility is baked in to that weekly series. So about $40 expected move. And we can see that Coin went from approximately 357 to about 321. So far we're looking at about 35 out of the 40 points. A really good gauge of how far this stock can move. And ultimately, it's not about directionality. It's about capping the risk. Where is risk being perceived? And it's a non-directional assessment of that risk based on the expected move. So that's a key underline that actually played pretty well to that range. You can see that 357, we actually got down to about the 309. So that was an overextension, and we're returning back to sort of that risk level, approximately $40 from the close. Another name that reported, Upstart. That one seeing a bit of an overextension as the market was predicting about a $50 expected move. And you can see that we closed at about 313. And so far we're hitting about 240s. our low being about 233 after the earnings were announced. So we're looking at approximately a 2 times expected move extension. This is where the rubber band starts to snap. Essentially, the marketplace was predicting sort of a calm 50 points. Everything is within range. You stretch that rubber band 2 times, market often will try and return it back to that normal standard deviation range. But if you get too far outside, the rubber band will snap. And usually you'll see things like delta hedging, which is a dynamic of market making firms to push the stock even further in the direction of the break. So understanding these dynamics, especially amidst earnings, and even more specifically in underlyings that break much further than what the option market expected. It can be very dangerous to try and time bottoms whenever you have an underlying which simply did not predict its range correctly. And ultimately, these are stocks that can be very dangerous to try and time bottoms or try and catch reversals because, at least within the perception of the option market, there is no bottom. The hedging has to continue until these firms unwind their risk. And that's where the technicals can really start to break down. And ultimately, we can see returns to previous levels that haven't been seen in approximately a couple of years. So just keeping all that in mind, we are short-term traders. We're looking for opportunity. And that opportunity can be in the form of trend, momentum, reversal, counter trend type trading, or simply non-directional strategies if you are in the option world. But having those tools put together and knowing which markets will give the best opportunity for those types of strategies is also part of our edge. And when you have that extra layer of how far did the option market predict the move, how far is it outside of that prediction, and did it snap the rubber band? Are we 2 times out of the expected move? At this point, the sky or the floor is the limit. Now, there's another key underlying that was very similar. This one, of course, being Roblox, which did have more impressive earnings. But this is another underlying where things are kind of starting to break outside of that expected move. If we look at just an auto expected move for the week, earnings was predicting approximately about a $5 to $10 expected move. We're way outside of that at this point. So the option market did a pretty poor job capitalizing or minimizing where that risk was supposed to be. And more specifically, the option market, let's see if they've gone ahead and updated it. They have. On yesterday's session, there did not exist strikes above 125. So as we've seen in some of these underlyings, things like car, whenever the option market doesn't even have a way to allow for participation at the money or higher, then things can really start to break apart. And we see these overextended moves. These can be very dangerous if you're playing counter trend, as a lot of people have sort of witnessed in stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, or anything that's breaking outside of the expected move. It can be very challenging, and ultimately the market doesn't even offer much in the way of pullbacks to exit your position. You will simply be caught until you decide to stop out. So understand these dynamics, sort of put them in the back of your mind. And if you're going into the market and trading these underlyings, whether you're following the trend or not, understand that there are dynamics at play that help or hurt those types of strategies depending on when they are occurring. So Roblox was a key underlying yesterday. Just want to note that this one had some interesting volatility, just showing that, let's put it to a 5-minute, that morning sell-off, basically the morning range, allowing for this market to basically stabilize, and then a nice little sort of oversold reaction off of a pre-market low, along with, if I move this low out in time, you can see how well we actually marked that low. This was an interesting trade if you were looking to get into a possible trending stock and basically play for this one to be bullish on the rest of the session. So with that said, that's pretty much it for today. Still plenty of opportunities on the gappers list. We have some new stocks that reported earnings. I didn't go over all of them, but two of the more significant ones that did report. We still have a market that remains relatively bullish, although we are entering daily consolidation. Basically we have started to pivot. We want to be watching where the strength has been in the past. IWM has hit its first Fibonacci target, looking for that pullback and basically seeing where the market responds with another buying opportunity. And at the end of the day, just understanding the risk of this market. Essentially, if you were chasing momentum, the risk is always going to be to the downside in regards to a larger than average pullback, because momentum doesn't leave structure. It doesn't leave support. It basically is just people facilitating the move higher and higher and ultimately allowing for that to top and pull back to the mean, reversion to the averages, reversion to trend lines. And what that can look like in a stock like Tesla, let's take just a very historical example here. Let's go back about 5 years. Let's see what that stock did whenever it did top out on a parabolic move. Let's look at what the risk profile could be if this market starts to fall apart. Tesla did have a parabolic top set back when it was a pre-split of approximately 1,000 a share. We actually had a pretty significant rally after that after that high was made. Basically a bull trap in regards of a technical structure. And then a larger than average pull down. Of course, this was a different phase in Tesla's performance, a different time when Tesla was trying to become a reputable EV company. But the risk profile is exactly the same. We're seeing the same volatility to the upside. We're also seeing the same sort of price action and 1 to 2 day movement in regards to upside and downside. This pullback losing about 30% from high to low, the larger than average sort of bull trap, and then the eventual return to the mean. Once again, just thinking about trend lines, something as simple as where did the trend begin and how far can it go down? This one, of course, reverted much deeper, but a simple return to our trend line. And all I have to do is move it back into our current time frame and see where that trend line formed before the parabolic move started. So understand that risk profile, trade safe, always keep those things in check, and basically take advantage of the short-term volatility. Know that you can profit in both directions, but obviously don't become too attached to one trade just because of historical performance. That's often how you get things that were once a profitable position, turn those into a loser, and basically wipe away your performance. So trade safe. We'll talk more tomorrow. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. And as always, keep it green.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Hope you had a better morning than me and Norm had yesterday. um, but we are back and hopefully better than ever. So, good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. Hope you are too. First and foremost, Mike beat me to it, but I want to wish all the Marines out there uh, happy Marine Corps birthday. And fun fact, I believe this is the 100th anniversary of Lejeune's order to celebrate said birthday. So happy birthday, Mike. Happy Marine Corps birthday, everybody.
Yes, guys, happy birthday. And speaking of birthdays, today is my son's second birthday, just like that, 2 years in. So, yeah, happy birthday to him. It should be a whole lot of fun today. So, um, guys, let's get to it. Let's see our gappers list this morning. To the downside this time. Again, we've been kind of ramping up here on the gapping up list. Today we see the gap down just be quite huge this morning. So we'll look into what's happening there. So a whole lot of stuff. Jared, guys, give him a big thumbs up. He went through a lot of this stuff already this morning. What's going on? How things got very extended and the downside movement we had yesterday. So a big thumbs up for him going to that every single morning. Here, guys, let's take a look over at our watch list from yesterday, starting with BL and K. And again, the song and dance is the same. A lot of stuff. Again, if you short it, if you were sitting on the short side, you did very well, no matter almost what you traded. I mean, everything was just weak, guys. The SPY, everything's just dropping. We had Blink here, it's a beautiful drop, great continuation. We had Piton here as well, not as clean as the other ones that we had on deck, but also very weak and selling off. AMC as well sold off nicely here. Again, just everything, guys, everything south yesterday, as you can see here. Lucid, nice, beautiful pullback to the moving averages. And then the flush, that is great. And we have Plug here, which again, out of the other stocks we had, this was probably tends to be not the cleanest one. And how can we forget about Tesla? Obviously, we spoke a lot about that in the room yesterday. I mean, look at this drop here, guys. Huh? Just madness. This one drop alone here goes from 1120 down to 1030. So, yeah, just incredible. With that said, Norm, what is the latest and greatest as far as the SPY and overall data?
Yeah, brother. We just had a big data dump come out right when we were coming on the air at 8:30. We had initial jobless claims and continuing claims. I had the info pulled up here, and then CPI and core CPI data. So jobless claims came in essentially as expected. Continuing claims, for some reason, I don't have them right here. The CPI number month over month came in much hotter than expected at 0.9 versus 0.5%, which caused the SPY to drop a little bit there. So it's actually dropped a low a day, down about 0.4% there. Qs down 0.7. Those growth stocks in the Qs tend to be hit a little bit harder by those things. So, yeah, let's see how the day goes. And we got wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. And then oil numbers, I believe, at noon. So, yeah, let's see.
Yeah, definitely has been. There has not been no lack of excitement in the stock market for that's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna move this out of the way as usual. So we'll move this epic pen here. And guys, let's take a look at what we have going on our list this morning. Starting with the gap up list, RNG today, they are up 25%. 128,000 shares traded. Their daily, let's get that in here. Right now, their dailies, it's not looking great. It looks a little bit light on volume as well. You can see here 2 million is the most they hit on a regular basis. So not a fan of it. Pre-market action looks all over the place. I'm going to skip on this one, guys. Again, it's up nicely, but this looks disastrous as far as intraday trading for what we're looking to do, right? So um, let's get away from that one. Here we have a PUBM. PUBM also not looking great this morning, up 24%, 290,000 right now. Nice big gap up, but aside of that, it doesn't look clean. So not a lot going on there. Has a very high interest, short interest here at 40%. So that could be interesting there. Outside of that, I don't see anything else on here that looks good. Also, lower flow stock sitting at 18 million shares flow. You got to be careful with that one there. All right, heading down here, we do have Dash. Dash, we've seen Dash before, guys. It is not an easy intraday trading stock. Right now they're up 16.7, 244,000. Again, I'm not a fan of this one, guys. It doesn't trade very well. Okay, so far nothing on the gap up list looks good so far. Here's Becky. Becky this morning, they're up
Oh my God,
9%.
Becky.
Yes, Becky. 330,000. Possible maybe, guys. I know this one has done okay in the past. Now I won't say great, but has done okay. We'll throw Becky here as a possible. Let's see where that's gonna go. ML this morning, they are up 6%. Horrible pre-market action, even worse daily. We'll skip on that one. AGFY. Oh, this is real bad here. No
Oof.
good.
No, no,
No
no,
good.
no.
No good. Say it again.
No, 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 no.
No, absolutely not. This is no good. All right, I'm sure we're gonna find better stocks here in our gapping down list. That looks like where all the action is at right now. Look at all these low flow stocks here. Just plenty of low flow stocks taking a hit today. 100%, 140 short interest on this one here. BKKT. Um, mm, that's
You know who
strange.
that's going to catch the eyes of?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
My dog doesn't like it.
He doesn't like that neither, man. He hates that one. PRPL, let's look at that. This one this morning, they are up there, excuse me, down 32%. Big drop today, 762,000 shares traded. Not looking very good right now. I want to find something better, guys. I hope we can find something better than this, really. POSH, POS, push, whatever you want to call this one here, down 30%. POSH, 441,000. Big drop. The daily looks all over the place. Any significant news on any of these big gap down norms that you like this morning?
Earnings.
Earnings on all of these for the most
Yeah.
part?
Purple
Okay.
had earnings after the bell yesterday. Poshmark had earnings after the bell yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Upstart had earnings after the bell yesterday. So
Upstart right now is probably the one that looks the cleanest, but I know how difficult they are to trade because we had them on our list plenty of times, and they're not easy to trade. Today do have a great daily here. I mean, a great pre-market action that we do have shares for short. Maybe a possible UPST. We'll put that on there. These other ones up here, guys, I don't like them very much. I definitely do not like BLBX. This is horrible. Nothing going on there. Just crap. Let's keep going. RDW, this is a low flow sitting at 15 million shares flow. And right now, if you look at the pre-market action for a low flow stock at a 15 million, this is not it. This is not it. YMTX this morning, they are, oh, no. Okay. What's going on here? I'm about to just take it to the room. We had such a blackbuster list yesterday. Today is Ion Q this morning. Usually it's the one that looks the least interesting, and today they're actually looking pretty decent here in the pre-market, getting a little bit toppy action on the daily. Yeah, Ion Q might be man. You could tell what kind of day it's going to be if I'm putting Ion Q on my list. But it's got the volume down 10%. Pre-market looks really good here. Got some pretty good action. And I love this daily here. We're getting some bit of a toppy action at the moment. So we'll see where that goes. Coin, guys, down 9%, but you know how bad this thing can trade. Again, taking a bit of a hit here this morning. I'll put it as a possible because I know a lot of people like this one. So we'll take a second look at it later in the day. FTCI, no good. Just look at this, how horrible that is. Fubo, down 8%. Uh, Possible if it can get any better. Fubo. What's going on with you? This we saw this yesterday. Very difficult to trade. Very light on volume. Yesterday's action, selling down as a lot of things did. Yeah, it looks very, very scary to trade this one, guys. And the spread is not fun neither. Um, Last one, guys. BKKT. This is 9.6 million shares flow. This one is down 7% today. Yeah, this one could be interesting. We do have shares for short. It is on short selling restriction. We had fun with this one on the way up a couple of weeks ago. Let's see what it's going to do today. I'm not a big fan of lower flow stocks towards the downside. I think that they just trade a little bit different. You got to be extra cautious with this one, guys. Very, very careful. All right, that is all we have. Norm, anything you like this morning?
yes.
I'll take it.
RNXT.
RNXT. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Lower float, but been running this morning, so we'll see if it'll get another pop. Curious to see that. Biotech with pancreatic cancer therapeutic of some sort. I've got PayPal. It's been extremely active recently. See if it's going to get rolling and get going again today. Lucid LCID. And then we've got Rivian, new EV company, a lot of money behind it from Bezos, Amazon, all that. IPO today, RIVN. My guess is that one, I mean, IPOs don't have scheduled opening times. With its name and the little bit of hype behind it, I think it'll probably take a while to get that one open, but you never know when. So we can set an alert for it. I'm sure that
Give me the ticker for that one again.
RIVN. Harry K. Thank you, sir.
Harry, thank you very much. $10 bomb there from Harry. Happy birthday to all Marines and to your son, Carlos. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you to all the veterans for tomorrow and for your service. John and Mike, just in case I am not here tomorrow, I will be fishing. So there it is, Harry. Thank you so much for that.
Can I come?
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so RIVN. So this is not open yet, right? This is going to open.
No.
Yeah. So
later today, but they don't schedule times for IPOs. They have to get the book balanced, and that takes a while, especially on these well-known hyped stocks. So it could open anytime, probably after 10:15 or so.
Absolutely. Norm, you gave me two really good ones. Lucid is amazing, guys, looking very good. And this has been the daily so clean on this one. And PayPal was so great yesterday. And again, just not doing so well here. And this one actually was weak out of the gates, right? A lot of stocks yesterday gapping up and they sold off into the open. This one was gapping down huge and was a great short. Obviously, the market probably helped it with its momentum. But today, down again another 1%. So PayPal definitely like that one. Guys, let's take it to the room. Let's start here with Hector. You're giving us AMD. Let's take a look at AMD. Nope, not that one. AMD. AMD this morning. Yeah, this looks good. I mean, today, guys, the AMDs, the Apples, depending how things are going to go with this market, are going to be somewhat in place. So AMD looks good.
Semis are getting slammed this morning. I think it's just profit taking.
I
look at Bucket. Bucket's starting its thing. Its order flow is quite scarce, but nevertheless, it just popped over the last couple of minutes since we discussed it.
Yeah. This is why you want to be very careful, guys, going short on these things.
Spready.
It's the spread, everything. Be very, very careful. All right. I definitely like NVIDIA. I like AMD. Both looking very good, very active this morning. Again, these things have ran up a ton in the last couple of days. So like you said, Norm, just taking some profit taking could be happening here. PLTR this morning, they had a great drop yesterday, like many stocks did. Their pre-market action today looks good. They're down 3%. Great volume. Yesterday, I kept it off my list, and we could have done that easily because we have so many great things to watch. But PLTR looks very good right now. 2.5 million, down 3%. Let's hope that continues into the market open. So I like that one. We'll keep that one on deck. Next, we have NVIDIA. We have already. Thank you, Chris. You're giving us Allo. Allo this morning. They are. What do we have on Allo? Oh, come on. Are you looking for no, Chris? Come on, Chris. All right, let's move on down. RNXT.
You've made no so popular that I think people are throwing out bad tickers just to hear you say it.
Throwing out some garbage stuff out there just so we can say that. All right, very good. NRXT. Excuse me. Norm gave us that one. Very good there. Apple. Did we look at Apple? I don't believe we did. Let's take a look at Apple here. Apple this morning. Oh yeah, I quickly looked at it. You know what? NVIDIA, AMD look much better. Maybe a possible on this one, but NVIDIA and AMD, the actual semis are where the action is at right now. But nevertheless, with a market like this, Apple will be a good one to watch. Neo for real though. Okay, so you were joking with that one. Thank God, because you've been with us for a while, and man, if you were serious about that one, we have some work to do. Neo here, guys, looking okay, not great. It has volume, but what we have here, PayPal, Lucid, AMD, NVIDIA, do not look. This Neo does not look better than that right now. So I'm gonna skip on it for now. Maybe a possible. I think it can beat some of the possibles like Coin. I know I'm not gonna watch Coin. It's just gonna be too crazy. Roblox. I know it was active yesterday. What did it end up doing? Oh, it's just one of the few stocks that actually ended the day green, in a nice green, right? So I stopped watching it around here. It's just didn't look fun compared to everything else. But man, look at this nice little run to end the day there. Very, very difficult to trade, guys. This stock can be very wild. The spread and the moves at times are just too wide. So you got to be very careful on that. Trader Ben. So if you like this one, you can watch it. Definitely in play for a possible continuation today. NVIDIA Joe, we do have. Thank you for that. Heading on down, EVGO. Let's take a look here. EVGO today. EVGO this morning. They are. I think we have better stuff on deck right now than this one. Again, EVs have been, they're definitely been in play. I like Tesla a whole lot better. Tesla is great. We're going to put this on here, even if it's just for fun. That's a nice one there. Definitely a lot going on there. Neo is the best EV stock. All right, so we'll look at Neo because EVGO doesn't look, Neo does look a bit better. FVRR. This is Fiverr, right? I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and earnings.
Fiverr.
They don't. They trade
yeah.
pretty thin overall. They don't trade much volume at all. I think their average daily volume is around 500,000 shares.
Yeah, that's not going to be good, especially at this price range of I have 186. That spread is going to be crazy even at the open. So even with earnings, be careful if you're going to be trading. Again, guys, we're not saying you can't trade this one. It all depends on your trading style, right? But the way me and Norm trade, this would not fit our criteria. It just falls outside of that. And the way a lot of our trading is done in the room, from Andrew, Thor, and a lot of the other guys, this one might not fit in here, except Eamon. Eamon trades very, very different than a lot of us do. He might have this on his list. Who knows? A firm. Let's take a look there. A firm this morning. No, no, they're difficult to trade. And today, I'm not seeing something that says, you know what, this could be on the list today because it's doing something spectacular. I'm not seeing that. So, all right, guys, let's stop here in the room. Let's take a few over from YouTube, and then we'll get over to our community events and announcements. Let's take a look here. We'll start with Jose Neo. We looked at, so thank you for that one. Anna, you're giving us SOPA. Are you talking about SOPA in soup, or you mean SOPA the ticker? You do mean SOPA the ticker. Okay. So SOPA here.
No soup for you.
No soup for you. Oh my God, that is one of the funniest shows ever. And this one is no soup for you. Definitely not, because it's just
spread's $1 right now. Just a heads up. It was $1.50 just a second ago.
Wish I would have been in this one yesterday around 8 a.m. Would have been nice. Look at this thing from 16 to 54. Today's just gonna be wild. What's the float on this thing? What's the float on this thing? Recent IPO. So again, just yesterday. We don't have the flow information yet. Just not a whole lot of history, guys. You can scalp this. This is the type of stock you want to scalp if the price action looks great.
Well, you got to have price action, and you can't have the spread that it was showing a minute ago.
Exactly.
You'll get killed trying to scalp that.
So be very, very careful. I won't have it on my list, guys. It's just way out of my risk tolerance here, this thing. All right, what else we have? SOPA is no good. Our RNXP, we do have a WTI. From when? WTI? No. WTI, guys. I mean, price action is bad. It's nothing happening in the pre-market. You got 3,000 shares traded. That's a no. Adrian. I'm sorry, Wang. No good there. EVGO, we looked at. I like Neo a little bit better this morning. That can get going. We'll look for that in our scanners. Anna, SOPA again.
They're not talking about the ticker WTI. They're talking about WTI oil, West Texas Intermediate crude, I think.
Okay.
But nevertheless, we don't trade commodities in here.
Yeah, and if I look at oil, I don't see much going on right now. Is there any news?
They'll have numbers out later today.
Okay, so let's wait for the news to happen, guys. That's usually what I like to do. I like to wait for the things to hit, let it create price action. I don't want to anticipate what's going to happen and get caught in some madness, right? Same thing with earnings. I don't like to play things before earnings. Let the numbers come out. Let it create the volume and volatility. Then we'll take advantage of it. Laser looks good, guys. Nice little drop here yesterday. Possible continuation. We'll add this one as the last one here. We'll get to announcements. So Laser. Yeah, we'll put this on here. 891,000, down 1.6. Pre-market action looks okay. Looks good. Okay on that one. UPST we do have, so thank you for that, Tempo. All right, guys, with that said, let's go to our community events, and we'll come back and fine-tune this list after a couple of things.
All right. We had Mike's webinar last night, 8 p.m. on finding strategy to meet your trading goals. Should be posted soon if it's not already. And then we'll have Eamon next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Note a special time for Eamon, 5 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be about trend trading. Tonight at 5 p.m., we will have the wonderful Kreda talking about building $1 million mindset. We'll also be speaking with her in just a moment. And then next week, and note the special time tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, due to her time zone in Europe. And then next week, our mindfulness expert, Nada, will be talking about how mindfulness can improve conversations you have with yourself. Just a reminder, all super chat and super sticker revenue is for the month of November is being matched dollar for dollar by Andrew and donated to the Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. And guys, it's going to be the last week we're going to do this for a while. Just interest in this is chilled out a little bit. We're going to focus on some other things starting next week. So post it on Twitter, tag at Bearable Traders, at Mike_B_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT family, day trading and stock market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon in the room and on Twitter. And then all those trades of the week we'll vote for over the weekend and announced on Monday. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a shot, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. All you do is go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down the page about halfway or so. You'll see that test drive now button. Click that. When you check out, use the promo code PREMARKET24 to get the discount. It is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days. It does not bill you again, only the one time. And then you actively have to go choose a membership category if you'd like to continue on. And we have our Black Friday discount going on right now, 45% off of the Elite Annual Membership plus 1 month of free DAS Simulator included. Use the promo code BlackFriday45 to do that. Yes. Chris, I think it does. Anyway. Kreda, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Norm. Much better than I was on Monday. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you sound like you've cleared up a bit, so that's great to hear.
Yeah.
All right. So I know today we are going to be talking about confidence, correct?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And especially newer traders in here, if you haven't traded real live money, I would pay special attention to this one because I can affirm, I can attest to the fact that if you lose your confidence, you lose your ass. So take it away, Kreda.
Thanks for that intro, Norm. It really sells the idea of building your confidence. So this is a really important topic, and it actually came from a suggestion on Twitter. So to the tweet I put out last week. So thank you for that. So confidence in terms of trading, why do you need it? You need it to be able to make decisions quickly, which obviously is a really important skill in trading. You also need it to be able to get back on the horse when you've had a loss, when a trade's gone against you or a red day, and you need to be able to reset quickly. If you get stuck in the disappointment or the sense of failure or whatever it is that the loss brings up for you, then you're not going to actually show up with your best trading the next day or on the next trade. So confidence will help you to actually bridge that gap and reset to neutral. So it's really important. And it comes from a lot of different things. So it's important to understand that confidence is not just a personality trait that you're born with or that you're born without. So you can actually build confidence when you use different strategies to keep it fresh and keep it toned. So if you think of it like going to the confidence gym, the more that you actually proactively work on your confidence, then the more you're going to experience the results and the benefits of it. And there are a lot of benefits of it. So in the research, they actually split confidence into the idea of self-confidence, which is more global, your general feelings about yourself, and then self-efficacy, which is what I'm going to talk about for the rest of this slot, even though I'll call it confidence. And that's actually your belief in your ability to execute a specific skill or a task. And so research has found that people with higher self-efficacy are actually able to persist longer in the face of challenges. So that's the resilience piece that is our theme for this month. But not only that, they actually set higher goals for themselves because they have the confidence to expect themselves to achieve them. So they pursue loftier ambitions, challenge themselves to achieve higher goals, and then they persist more and they're more motivated to actually achieve them. So if you build confidence, you actually get to benefit from all those results of having confidence as well. So it's a really important skill to work on. And like Norm said, it's so important for your trading, but you can't just assume that it will come as you build up your skill set. Yes, that will help it, but you can use lots of other techniques to actually make sure that you're going in with the right amount of confidence. Even early on in your trading, when you haven't, say, even started trading money yet, you can be working on your confidence, and that will stand to you then when you transition to live trading. So what does the research say about how you can build it? So according to Bandura, so he kind of started off all this research about the sources of confidence. So how you actually can top up your confidence. And there's 4 key sources. So it's helpful to understand from a research perspective what the theory side of it is, and then you can apply that in whatever way is personal to you and whatever resonates with you. So if you're going to be working on your confidence a lot, you want to be using techniques that you really enjoy and that resonate with you. So I'm going to explain how you can put these pieces of the puzzle together now. So the 4 sources of confidence. The first one is actually mastery experiences. And that is exactly what it sounds like. So accomplishing things and recognizing that you've accomplished them. So that sounds pretty straightforward, but how do you actually do that before you've achieved, the financial goals that you want to hit, or before you're live trading? So if you set goals, so small achievable goals for yourself, and you set them on a daily basis, you're actually setting yourself up to experience mastery. So you set a small goal, maybe you try and only take A+ setups today, and you actually stick to it. That builds your sense of mastery, and that breeds confidence. So there's a skill to setting goals that will actually set you up for success. And that's especially helpful if you've had a loss or you've taken a knock in some way. If you can set a small achievable goal and then see yourself actually accomplish it, that will start to build back that confidence. So mastery experience is really important. The second one is vicarious experiences. And this just means seeing other people who are similar to you succeed. And that goes against the idea of envy and jealousy. And so it's a good reason to actually look at what other people who are similar to you are doing. So maybe people who have been trading for the same amount of time as you, who are trading the same stocks as you, that kind of thing. And if you see them being successful, it actually role models that it's available for you to do as well, so that you too can accomplish that. And this is according to all the research and the theory. So the more that you actually seek out people who you admire, who are similar to you, and you learn of their experiences of being successful, that actually breeds confidence in yourself. So that's the second one. The third one then is your emotional and physiological states. And that just means how you're feeling in yourself and actually how your body is feeling. And this links with the idea of getting yourself into the zone before you even start trading. So doing a bit of a warm up, a pre-trading routine before you even sit down at the computer in the morning, to get yourself in the right emotional state and the right physiological state. So having enough sleep, feeling relaxed. Maybe you need to be feeling a little bit buzzed up. So maybe it's watching motivational videos before you come in to your trading. So getting yourself in that right state to perform, the state that works for you. So some people need to be a little bit calmer, more chilled out, and some people need to be a bit buzzed up before they go in. So knowing what that is for you, and then taking some practical actions to actually put yourself into that mode, that will breed confidence. It sets you up for success. And then the last one is verbal persuasion. So this again ties in with affirmations, my favorite topic. So if you actually tell yourself, so you give yourself self-talk cues, that can help you to build confidence. And they use this a lot in sport, where people use cues to execute skills properly as they're like, so a golfer might use a self-talk cue to help them hit the right shot, to swing the club correctly. But you can use them in your trading to help cue your attention and build your confidence. So that might either look like coaching yourself through a trade out loud even, or in your head, or it could look like creating an affirmation script, which we've talked about before. So a whole script of statements that are positively worded and that will boost your confidence. And then you listen to that to program these beliefs in your subconscious. So using verbal persuasion to actually build your own confidence. So you can do it for yourself. And obviously if it works, if somebody else is telling you that too. So if you have a trading mentor, or if in the chat room you're getting kudos for trading well, then that works to build your confidence too. So they're the 4 sources, but then how do you actually turn them into practical actions? So I'm going to give a quick example of each of those in a practical sense. And then you can actually take this idea and have a think about what might work best for you, what would resonate for you. And then the key is to actually consistently implement that technique until you see your confidence rising, and then keep going so that you can keep building your confidence. Because to me, you can never have enough confidence, really. So the first one, if we think of mastery experiences, we said you can set goals, but you can also reflect back on things that you've done really well. So reflect back on trades that went really well for you. Write a confidence CV. So write an actual CV, not to get a job, but to reflect on all of the things that you've done in your life and in your trading that you're really proud of, and that you did really well. So that's an example of how you could prime those mastery experiences. The verbal persuasion, we said it could be an affirmation script or self-talk cues. The physiological state, well, that could be watching YouTube videos, and somebody sent me wonderful YouTube videos of Cristiano Ronaldo's finest moments, and I have to say that was pretty motivational. So it doesn't even need to be trading related. It could be something that just puts you in a real positive mind frame, puts you in the right emotional state for your trading. So you'll know what that is for you. So you can watch those type of videos before you trade, and that will get you into the right emotional state. It could also be using meditation. So if you're someone that needs to be calmer and more chilled out, you could do a meditation before you start trading, and that could do the same thing. And then I've forgotten now which one I have left out there. Verbal persuasion. Oh, the vicarious experiences. So that also is, again, you could be talking to people in the chat room. You could be watching videos on YouTube. You're just seeking ways to remind yourself that it's possible for you to achieve these goals that you're aiming for. So there are some quick tips as to how to build confidence in your trading, and it's really worthwhile doing because it'll help you stay on track and recover quickly from mistakes.
Greta, I love it. You're doing an awesome job in this segment. And just a reminder to everybody out there, I know she goes a little bit more in depth than Dr. Katz that preceded her in doing this. Just a reminder, she has her own playlist on the channel. So a day or so after we have these conversations, you can go back and review that and catch up on it if you feel like you could benefit from it. And Greta, the chat is just pouring through with thank yous and everything else from everybody. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Great stuff. Thanks, Norm.
Take care. See you tonight.
All right, guys. My audio on? Yes, it is. All right, guys.
Yep.
Thank you so much, creator guys. Let's make sure you hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. It does help a whole lot. We have 165 likes. If we can get to 250, that would be great. So thank you, guys. All right, guys, let's get to it. A couple of things on our list here. We are looking at PayPal. I like this morning. That looks good. We are down nicely here for a possible continuation. IonQ was looking good this morning, but I think we found stuff that looks a little bit better today that we can probably move that one down. Here's Lucid. This looks good. It has been very active on the daily as well. We'll keep that on there. AMD, NVIDIA, both semis are doing very not well as far as up or down, but well as far as pre-market action. So that is nice. And then Tesla, of course, I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to look at Tesla today. Mara and Riot, what's going on with them? They're moving. Oh yeah, something's happening with Bitcoin here. Let's see what the BTC.
Don't
I'm
place
always
an order
careful
when you hit that pound sign.
Oh, you could see how you slow down. It's like when you were younger, you have to parallel park. You turn the music down and you just kind of focus in.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Bitcoin just started chugging along on volume when that inflation data came out. So up to all-time highs here. And we're either at all-time highs or just below. Yeah, just the last couple of days, the highs right around 69, right at 69,000. So it's popped up after being a little bit red this morning.
Yeah, so we're seeing that some of the action showing on Riot and Mara. Let's see which one looks better. Mariah, I'm not gonna have both of them, but Mara, I'm gonna keep Mara. Mara looks good. Let's keep Mara on here. Either one you can go with, guys, is good. I'm just gonna, for the sake of space, we'll just put Mara. All right, let's do levels, guys. Secondary list PLTR looks decent. UPST looks okay. Becky, you know what? I'm not sure about Becky. I think I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to remove Coin as well. Again, we had him here when things were not looking so good, but now we have a whole bunch of stuff here. A few that even Norm gave us that were not on our gapping list that look very good. Apple, as much as I want to keep Apple, I don't think Apple is really in play, guys. I don't think it really is. So I'm going to remove it. It doesn't mean it cannot be great today, but let's look for the scanners to hit that or somebody to call it out. Neo, it's okay. Lasers, active, and RIVN is going to open up a little bit later. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have time. We'll do these sevens and we'll continue to fine tune as we move into the market open. All right, on PayPal, guys, we have low of the pre-market sitting at 202. So we'll slam a level there. Towards the top, guys, you got the previous day close. Highs from yesterday, the day before, we're sitting all the way up here around 225. Do we have anything in between this gap here? Let's go to the left. Do we have anything in between here? I see gray support right over here, so that's good. And then that's when we had that nice drop, right? But I wonder if there's anything in between here. Let's try to go back here. Let's see here. No, is that right? No, that can't be right. PayPal's been out. Yeah, there we go. PayPal's been out for a lot longer than that. Here it is right in here. Okay, so we do have something, not a whole lot. Oh, yeah, actually, you have a good one. 219. 219 is good. That's all you need there. And then towards the bottom here, guys, you have another great level of resistance over around 193.63. So slamming level there as well. So that is coin. Sorry, that is PayPal. PayPal looks very good there. IonQ this morning. Again, I like this pre-market action. Daily's a little bit interesting. Definitely going to keep an eye on that one. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are doing a pretty good job already in this box here. So you're pretty much covered there. Levels all over the place. I'm just going to add a level of the high of the pre-market. You already have the low from 2 days ago, marking down the low of the pre-market. So you're good there. Towards the bottom, you do have this one area of support and then resistance. And then not support, but just the breakout you're getting there, 17.12. I think you're pretty set there. Pre-market action looks good on this one, guys. I like what's happening there. Here's Lucid. Ooh, Lucid looks like it wants to lose the low from yesterday and the low of the pre-market right now. We had a little bit of a bounce here. We got a little bit of a play to try to get above. It failed nicely on this moving average, and we're slamming right back down. That's a nice play for a breakdown here at this 42.13 level that we have. So towards the bottom, we do have 40.07, so that is nice there. And then the next big level I see on the daily is going to be 36.62. Nice area right on here as far as the level. So that is good there. AMD, let's take a look here. AMD, low of the pre-market, 143.51. That's a good level to have there. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days doing pretty good here. I'm going to add this one here also, 141.17 from 3 trading days ago. That's a good area of resistance on there. And that's all you really need. You can mark down your high of your pre-market sitting over at a 147. We'll throw a level there, and I think you're pretty much set as far as AMD there. Here's NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA right now, we are low of the pre-market, 291.22. And then towards the bottom of that, you got this big push here that we had recently, all-time highs through this. So again, you're not going to find any daily levels up here in this area. So you can go into this day and look at where you had an area of resistance and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but you can do that. I'm just going to have the 291. And obviously, I'm going to have this level here, 270, right? So again, we don't have no history in this range here. NVIDIA's just been parabolic, just incredible on this daily. So a little bit of a pullback right now, as we mentioned, could be some profit taken in this area because they all have ran up so much. Here's the madness on Tesla. Tesla low of the pre-market sitting at 1,005.50 cents, looks like. So we'll slam a level there. Towards the bottom, we have another level here at 948.10. We have 912. Again, I have this one on here. It might be more of a possible now, given how great everything else is looking here. this morning. It'll just be difficult to trade probably too. 1046, 1047 is the high of the pre-market there. Also, we have another level here at a 1077. And yeah, I think this is the one I'm going to move down. Let's move Tesla down to a possible. It's a great possible. If you like trading Tesla, you want to have that one on your list. Yeah, we did look at Riot. So Riot and Mara both look good. You can go with either one, guys. I just have one because I have so many on my list. But here's Riot running nicely, as Norm mentioned earlier about what's going on with Bitcoin. And Mara is on here as well, although Riot looks a little more exciting. But they're both right there. They're both right there. Where we left off, we took care of AMD. We took care of NVIDIA. Mara here is levels. We're just going to add this 80. 79 here, which continues to crush it here. 79, 80 for now. Highs and lows from the last two trading days here in this little box are doing pretty good. You're kind of in the middle of that right now. Do we have anything towards the top? Is this all-time highs for Mara? I don't recall it being so high, and it is. It is. So no levels above this 879.96 that you're getting right now besides yesterday's high right over here. So it looks like we might have hit 83, almost 84 right on this. That's all you really have for Mara on here. But looking good, guys. Riot and Mara both heavy in play right now. So looking very, very nice there. All right, guys, that completes our main list. Our secondary list today, let's just look at it one more time. We have Tesla, which is going to be very nice this morning. PLTR. PLTR is definitely in play, guys. It's just one of these stocks you got to just be careful with. They don't trade friendly. They're not a friendly stock to trade sometimes. UPST, it's good. Nice drop here, guys, on them. Fubo, nah, I don't like Fubo today. The volume is a little bit light. They usually tend to trade heavy volume. I'm not seeing that right now. Neo is just very choppy, but they got the volume 1.2. I do want to watch a couple of these EV companies in here because they've been so explosive lately. Here's Laser. As much as I like this drop for a possible continuation, I don't think Laser is really great right now. I'm not sure. We'll keep it on there for now, but not a big fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, guys, 9:14. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let me go ahead and resize this here. As I am doing this, if you haven't done so already, please take a quick moment and hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. Just going to resize this here. And I see people commenting on the camera on YouTube, but no, it's not a new camera. I just switched the angles after what we had yesterday here in the pre-market prep. I tore down the computer setup. I put my desk this way and just make sure everything was working properly. So it's in a different area now, but I kind of don't like it there. I might move it somewhere else because I'm constantly just looking this way to the chart. So we'll see what happens. All right, here it is, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup this morning. I'm going to bring this in. What do we have over here? Here we go. All right, so moderators lineup, guys. We do have, let's go over here to the top. Starting with, so make sure can you guys see this screen? Just make sure you guys can see this. Oh no, you cannot. There you go. Now you can see it. All right, so we have, let's start here with Peter. Today he's reporting a couple of IPOs opening up, a couple of SPACs there. So that's good. Heading on down, we have Simon. Simon's got a Microsoft, DKNG, Airbnb, and GameStop. Below that, we have Mike coming in with NVIDIA, AMD, and Dash. John is looking at Mara and Tesla. Tiffany is looking at NVIDIA, Lucid, and AM. We have Lucid too, right? Yes, Lucid is good, guys. Been trading so well. So Lucid is on here. AMD, her secondary list, Tesla, and Mara. Dima, she is having AMD, Becky, Mara, and Laser on her list. Peter is looking at AMD, of course, Lucid, Apple, secondary list, IonQ, Mara, and PayPal. And of course, our IVN when it opens up. So that, again, that ticker is not open yet, guys, but it's supposed to be pretty exciting open for them today. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Here's Brian with his list. HIVE, RNXT, which is a low flow. Very careful with that one. UPST, FCX, and also GDXJ for him. Jared with his list. BTC, he's looking at all the Bitcoin stuff there. Again, hitting all-time highs, a lot of CPI data coming out. As Norm mentioned earlier, it's just a whole bunch of stuff happening, and we're seeing Mara and Riot. Their volume is just crushing right now. So, guys, so hitting all-time highs on Mara. I don't think Riot is hitting all-time highs yet, but they're looking pretty good this morning. Lucid, Tesla, I already mentioned that, and then he's also my watch Piton as well for a possible bounce there. So guys, that is what we have. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market prep, guys, this morning. Appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that thumbs up before we get out of here. Appreciate it very much. We are back live tomorrow with Jared, engineering the markets at 8 a.m. Do not miss it. He goes over the overall market data. And tonight we have our psychology webinar at 8 p.m. No, sorry. No, our psychology webinar tonight is at 5 p.m. because we have a creator. So 5 p.m. Eastern time. Do not mistake the time so you can catch it live. We'll see her tonight. As you can see, she's been putting out some just amazing stuff for our community here, especially every morning, getting us ready for the market. Not every morning, Mondays and Wednesdays, getting us ready for the market open. Guys, thank you so much. Trade safe, and we will see you guys this evening at 5 p.m. Take care, everyone.